Welcome back. You're still with us on Startup Street. Bengaluru-based blue-collar staffing platform SmartStaff has raised $6.2 million in a Series A funding round from Nexus Ventures, Arkham Ventures, Bloom Ventures and Ulterior Capital. The Series A funding round takes SmartStaff total funding raised to $10.5 million. Founded in 2021, the startup offers payroll and compliance services. Joining us now to discuss this further is Arpit Dave, the co-founder of SmartStaff. Arpit, thank you so much for joining us on Startup Street today. You essentially offer end-to-end solutions for recruitment, workforce management and retention for mid-sized and large manufacturing enterprises. So how are you using tech to simplify this process, and what's the role that AI can play here now?
So at SmartStaff, we basically are taking the age-old staffing industry that existed in manufacturing space of India for maybe last 50, 60 years, and we are changing it into a very Uber, Ola-like platform where a factory worker can do everything from discovering a job to keeping a track of their date, keeping a track of their earning, as just get access to a lot of benefits which only a white-collar employee gets in current scenario. In part of that, it basically makes the job of technology quite complicated, because if you look at this industry basically operates at a level where there are about millions of contractors in India which provide employment to 40, 50 workers each. And workers keep switching jobs on a weekly, monthly basis, depending on the requirement that they have with businesses. What we as SmartStaff are able to do is we basically are able to bridge all the demand that exists on manufacturer side. So we connect multiple manufacturers, get an understanding of what demand they have across different skill sets, standardize that, do the same thing with workers where we do a skill test, identify skill sets that they have. Right. And then on a running basis, we basically match them with that. And that is the part where a lot of machine learning and AI comes into the picture.
Right. So basically like an Uber and Ola for staffing for blue-collar workers, essentially. Exactly. But talk to us about the different segments that you cater to. Where's most of the demand coming from for you? Any new industries that you're looking at entering into? Tell us a little bit about the clients you're catering to.
So currently we cater to, within manufacturing, 3 industries. So the first industry which we cater to, with which we started, is textile manufacturing. So within the textile manufacturing, we work with manufacturers of a lot of domestic brands, as well as a lot of manufacturers which cater to international brands. These are like all manufacturers operating factories of 1,000 to 2,000 workers, in some cases even 150 workers as part of their shop floor. With respect to other categories, I think textile is about 70% of our business right now. That's where we started, and our seed was to basically prove out the model. In the coming year, we are targeting to get into auto components as a second industry, warehousing as an industry, and then electronics assembly is also an industry which we need to get into.
All right. So auto components also something you're looking at. Now, apart from expanding into newer segments, which you've just outlined for us, where will the rest of the money go? Upskilling is one of it. What about geographic expansion? As we understand, South India happens to be your core market right now. So looking beyond that as well?
Yeah, so we right now are present in like 3 cities in southern India. So we have a presence in Bangalore, Tirupur and Hyderabad. We're looking to expand into Delhi NCR as the immediate next geography. We started small pilots there last month, and we are looking at expanding that further. And then I think within the next 12 months, we'll be getting into Gujarat and Maharashtra as 2 more geographies.
All right. So Delhi NCR is where you'll start your expansion from. But let's talk numbers then. What about revenues? Where are you at? What are your targets? How's profitability looking? Give us a sense of the revenue roadmap over the next few quarters.
So currently, we charge businesses for every hour of work that our workers do. We currently fulfill about 300,000 hours of work every month. So that's basically the key monetization strategy that sits with us. For every hour, it depends on the skill set of the worker, but on an average, we end up charging about $1 to businesses. In terms of our growth, we currently are growing at about 25 to 30% on a monthly basis. I think within next 12 months, we are targeting to get to about from $300,000 today to get to about $1.5 to $1.6 million on a monthly basis. All
right. So you're growing at 25 to 30% on a monthly basis. Now, you compete with the likes of Karma Life, Work India, Better Place, Apna, and Perk Finance across their verticals. So how do you plan to stay ahead of competition? Also, has this space matured over the last few years?
So we kind of are like a one-stop solution for a worker. So like just try to think of this industry like 70% of blue-collar workers in India currently migrate from somewhere like a UP or a West Bengal to a different part of India in search of a job. And once they migrate, then they need everything from a place to stay, to work work across different factories. And at SmartStaff, we basically provide a single set solution for them. And that's kind of how we differentiate compared to all the other companies that you talked about. In terms of our proposition, it's very simple. We think that as a blue-collar worker, you are always looking for a consistent, standardized earning opportunity, as well as get access to benefits, which is in a formal ecosystem. And that is something which does not exist in the 99% of the market which currently operates. And we basically are looking at building out a presence in that space.
All right, Arpit. So one-stop solution for blue-collar workers. Thank you so much for joining us on Startup Street today.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
All right, now Startup Street. Now moving on, fintech unicorn RAZORPAY recently announced the launch of its first international payment gateway for the Malaysian market with Kerlek, which is now known as Kerlek by RAZORPAY. The company had acquired the Kuala Lumpur-based recurring payment startup Kerlek in 2022, and its full-stack payment product is now going live. It is targeting over $2 billion in annualized transaction value by 2025 by serving more than 5,000 businesses. Joining me to talk about this is RAZORPAY's co-founder and CEO, Harshal Mathur. Harshal, welcome to Startup Street. Thank you for your time here. With Kerlek, RAZORPAY launched its first ever international payment gateway. So tell us, what is the size of the opportunity you saw in the Malaysian market, and how are you using your India learnings to really expand your presence there?
Okay, thanks so much for inviting. I believe as we started building in India, we've always been looking at how can we take the products and services that we develop in India to other markets. Given that India is one of the leading markets for fintech revolution, some of the products that we have built here are truly world-class. And I think, and we're glad that we have finally found the opportunity to take some of those world-class products in other markets, starting with Malaysia. Looking at Malaysia, it's a very high growth market. The size of the digital economy in Malaysia is about $21 billion. Is expected to double up to almost $50 billion by next year. So there's a large opportunity pool there, and the market is growing very rapidly. And I think a lot of our learnings that we have had in India of building world-class products, in building for ecosystems which have real-time payments, I think those can be very well applied to the South Asian market, Malaysia in particular, simply because a lot of these markets are replicating the kind of changes that we saw in India in the last couple of years. A lot of these markets are launching their own versions of real-time payments similar to UPI. They are constantly adopting digital payments in various different sectors which are adopting the newer technologies. And I believe that can create a lot of wide scope for RAZORPAY to bring the products and services that are scaled well in India to these markets. And that's what we are hoping to do with this launch.
But Harshal, quickly, what is Kerlek's current share in the digital payment landscape that you outlined in Malaysia?
Yeah, so it was a very early small acquisition that we did about 12 months back. The primary reason for doing that acquisition was to get the right team and the right product that we can scale it up. So right now, it has about close to 500, 600 merchants, but we expect to scale it up to almost 5,000 merchants by next year. And that's going to be the big exponential scale up that we want to see in the next 1 to 1.5 years.
All right, so 5,000 merchants, and you're also targeting $2 billion in annualized transaction values in just the next couple of years, right? Tell us how you plan to go about that, given that currently the size is much smaller. Are you looking at more inorganic opportunities as well?
No, see, we have the right team, we have the right products. We are bringing a lot of products and learnings from India to these markets. We have an office in Kuala Lumpur now, which is building for the local markets, and I think we have all the right ingredients, and with all of that, given the pace at which the market is growing, we are fairly confident that we can take up that much share out of that market and bring it on the RAZORPAY platform, just on the back of the products that we have. And I think this launch is just the starting point. We are already seeing a lot of traction, a lot of inbound interest from the merchants and businesses in Malaysia. In fact, a lot of startups from India have also expanded to Malaysia. So there's a lot of cross-learning and learning from India that we're able to carry into that market. So with that, I think we have the right ingredients to scale it up to almost 2 billion plus of transaction volume in the next 2 years.
Harshal, I'm going to pick on your words. You said this is just the start of your international play, right? So I want to understand, outside of Malaysia, whether it's in the Asia region or overseas, what are your plans? Are you going to be launching your payment gateway in other countries, and how soon are you looking to do that?
Yeah, we are very clear that the product and services that we build in India are truly world-class, and we are very confident that a lot of products that we have built in India in RAZORPAY are truly world-class that can be taken to a lot of these markets. So Malaysia is a starting point, but you're right, like there are a lot of other markets in Southeast Asia in particular that we are fairly excited about. I think Indonesia, Vietnam, Thailand, Philippines, a lot of these markets are seeing very rapid growth. The kind of digitalization and digital economic growth that we saw in India in the last 5 to 10 years, a lot of that is coming into these markets as well. And we would like to carry our product and our experience to these markets and scale up there. So those should be some of the next markets we'll start looking at. I can't give specific timelines because payments is a complicated domain. We need licenses, we need bank partnerships, we need approvals and multiple other things to fall in place. But we are very confident that Malaysia is a starting point, but we want to expand at least to the broader South Asian market and then other markets outside that.
All right, we'll wait for that to happen. But Harshal, just a quick word before we let you go. Your annual revenue last reported almost 1,500 crores and profits of 7.3 crores. And your gross transaction values have crossed now $100 billion. So give us a sense of what your international play is going to be like. How much, revenue is going to accrue from that business, say, not immediately, of course, you've just started there, but in the medium term?
Yeah, so see, payments and fintech is a very deep domain. So we are in there for the long term. As I said, that we need to do a lot of groundwork to launch in any one market and then to scale it up. So we are not impatient about it. We feel that we need to give any market at least 3 to 4 years to mature before it can start contributing significantly to our core revenue base. But you can see that like almost $100 billion of payment volume is what we process through in India today. We're expecting about $2 to $3 billion to come from Malaysian market in the next 2 years. And I think if you add a lot of these markets together, they can together contribute to almost $8 to $10 billion, which is not small compared to the size of these markets versus the size of India. So from that perspective, I believe close to 5 to 10% of our volumes and consequently our revenue could start coming from international markets in the next 2 to 3 years.
All right, so $2 to $3 billion immediately in the next couple of years, then 10% over a period of time. Harshal, always a pleasure speaking with you. Thank you very much for your time here.
Thank you so much.
On that note, it is time for us to head into a short break. But coming up, SmartStaff backed $6.2 million in a Series A round. How does the startup plan to use the funds and what are the growth plans? We find out on the other side. Stay tuned.